Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate everybody being here. Man, I've got a good show for you guys this time. We are going to break down the actual tournaments. We just started our very first Bassmaster Open of the season. I'm fishing all 9, trying to qualify for the elites. We started down on Lake Toho, the Kissimmee chain of lakes down in Florida. Good event for a lot of guys. For me personally, it was just kind of a survival deal. I basically had 2 bites every single day of practice. I was cut a little bit short on my practice time with some things that happened here at home that were out of my control. I got down there, had about 2.5 days, went to work, and a cold front, as per usual, had hit in Florida right before we arrived. So it really kind of put a damper on the bite for a lot of guys, myself included. I've got all the footage from the day. I'm really just going to kind of go break down. I'm going to do day 1 right here and kind of show you guys what I think. You know, hindsight's always 20/20, but some of the things that I did wrong, some of the things that I did right to salvage this event, to keep from finishing 156th the way I started the year last year down in Florida. I don't know what it is about Florida, but all the guys are always talking about, I don't care if they fish for 20, 30, 40 years. It's like, we got to get through Florida and survive it. I don't know why that's always a saying, but Florida can be a pickle, and cold fronts throw a little monkey wrench into it. A lot of times it's about a spot or a little area on one of the lakes combined inside the chain of lakes. I decided to stay right there at Toho, real close, on the upper end, right where we were going out of, to try to maximize my time and spend just the entire day and fish whatever was in front of me and try to fish it effectively. So that was really my game plan going into the first day of the event. And we'll cover that. Then we'll cover day 2. I've got some really cool stuff on that. Actually had winter chicken dinner in the back of my boat. So Coingler wins, big trophy, big check. We'll get into that once we do day 2 video. But right now, let's start this. Guys, don't forget, bump that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate you guys being here. Leave all your comments below. Any of the tackle that I talk about in this video, I'll try to leave links below for it, whether it's sponsored tackle or not. Anything that I'm using, I'll try to leave the links below. So if you're interested in any of that, click on that. Guys, let's get to it. That's us.
What time you doing?
I don't know, 450?
450. Yeah. Go out here a little ways and then pull your kill.
All right, thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to do some voiceover in this one. I'm not going far on this. I'm only going to run. Like I said, my game plan is to stay up north. Practice, I like to spend most of my time down on Lake Kissimmee whenever I come to this chain of lakes. The southern lake has just got more color to it. It doesn't have all the offshore hydrilla. It tends to keep fish up on the bank. And following the cold front that they had, it was just terrible. I mean, it was, you know, in places where you could tell that fish had been. There were bedding areas down there that I kept thinking that as the week warmed up and progressed, which it was going to during the tournament, that place would come and fire, and that was early on in practice. But by the last day of practice, it was obvious that it just needed more. I mean, it was wintertime in Florida, and it showed, and I kind of had to throw an audible. And we've all been through practices, and that's kind of why I want to make this video. We've all been through practices where things don't go very well. And instead of trying to fall back on a couple of places that I got a bite here or a bite there, down on Kissimmee, I decided just to go blind. I do have a lot of experience on this chain of lakes. I know for a fact that there's a lot of fish caught on Toho every single time. A lot of times it is the offshore hydrilla because that is what primarily makes up that lake. But this morning I just decided to run somewhere close. And I do start off on the offshore hydrilla, but it's right there by takeoff. I've got a good partner there named Jeremiah. He's from Florida. We just kind of decided to work together that day and just try to make the best of it. So you're going to kind of see me go through the motions here. I'm going to start on this offshore hydrilla and throw moving baits, chatter baits, swim jigs, jerk baits. That's pretty much what I'm going to go after here. That's going to be my game plan to start the morning, because a lot of times the grass bite early in the morning is active, right? So I'm looking for holes in the grass. I'm looking for places with sparse grass right next to walls of grass. I've got the live scope turned on. I'm just fanning around looking. I mean, there's not anything in particular that I ran to here. This is just a mouth of a spawning bay. and I'm sitting out in the mouth of it. You can see my trolling motor turning there, but this is more primarily what I'm looking for. And long story short, we start here, we spend about an hour here, and we don't spend an hour. We spend about 15 to 30 minutes here, and it doesn't really work out, but it was worth a good shot. You can see some of the grass there. This place was just choked out with high drill. Ended up being the problem with it. It was all really tall. There wasn't very many holes in it. It just wasn't the place, but we changed here pretty quick. All right, guys. This is one thing that I know that I have a ton of confidence in, that I've caught a lot of fish flipping pads in Florida. It's a spawning deal, so you have to really understand why they're there and how they position, and it really explains why I feel like this time it was wrong. It's early in the morning. I'm just bumping around trying things. The offshore hydrilla, quite honestly, was a good idea. And I probably should have spent more time doing it just based off of my 2.5 days of practice before it, because looking back, it's been cold, and these pads are about to spawn. That's what it's about. And I hadn't had very many bites in the last couple of days on pads, although I had a few flipping pads. I needed to wait till later in the day. That's really what needed to happen. If I was going to do this, it needed to happen later in the day, because it was going to be 80 degrees today in this tournament. And, you potentially could get some fish move up and start rubbing. But first thing in the morning like this, as slow as it had been, as cold as it had been, I mean, the water temperatures is in the 50s. For Florida, that's extremely cold, probably 56, 57 here, start in the morning here. And just wasn't a good plan. And quite honestly, throughout the entire event, I spent too much time doing this, where those fish that were there a week ago before the cold front have just moved right to the right of my screen, and they're just out there in the open. And chatterbait, swim jigs, jerk baits is going to be a much better bet if you can find a staging area where they've pulled off of the outside of that little spawning area right there. So looking back, like I said, we're talking about things that I did right, things that I did wrong. Like I said, this is something I've got a lot of confidence in, and any of you guys watching that fish in Florida know exactly what I'm talking about. It can be really, really special up there at certain times, especially if you've got a key stretch. But I'm just looking for some bites. That's all I'm really looking for. Like I say, I don't have any expectations on the day. I'm just trying and sampling everything. And so for that fact of the matter, this is not a bad bet. But just looking back, with the thought process of this tournament being over, this was a little bit early, and I shouldn't have pushed this as hard. Catching fish.
You think?
Yeah. That's why I came back. Exactly why I came back.
I'm with it. I'm hip. Let's do it.
Now here I've come right back to where takeoff is. I mean, I'm literally hundreds of yards right outside of takeoff, and there's boats everywhere. And the flotilla, there's guys out there, a couple of the Elite Series guys are out there throwing elbows, and it's obvious that there's a group of fish in this area. I piddle around here for a little bit with a jerk bait, swim jig, and a lipless rattle bait. I don't get any bites, and I end up moving on. But there are a couple of top 20s taken from this little area right here. There was just so many boats. You can barely see them in the screen, but it's just a flotilla of 25 boats. And if I'd spent some time there in practice and had some waypoints on some sweet spots, whether they be clumps of grass or hard spots in the grass, I would have been more of a tendency to be there and fight it out longer with these guys. So I probably should have stuck around just a little bit more. But there was a lot of guys that didn't catch them here as well, right? So it's not like every single person here caught them. That's Upshaw, I believe, somewhere out there in the middle of this, and he and I visited. He didn't catch much out of this either. He ends up pulling the plug on this pretty quick and decides to go on to Kissimmee, which ends up being a rough day for him for sure. I just stay up here on Toho, and like I say, you'll see me kind of move around, but this is one of the things that I couldn't start here in the morning because there was just so many boats taking off. So I just left just for a little bit, and I come right back. And like I say, there's a lot of guys here, but I just can't stay put. Drives me crazy fishing around all those guys. Like I say, if I've got some confidence in it, I'll stay with it. But I just couldn't do it this morning, and probably wished I would have hung out in this joint just a little bit more instead of punching mats and punching pads like I did. It's not a bass, but it might be. No way. No. So now I've moved off into a canal. It's a little bit later in the morning. The sun's getting a little bit higher. It's probably about 10:30. And this is one of the places that, you know, is probably pretty well known in Florida on Toho. It's just a little canal up at the upper end of the lake. It's got a lot of beds, a lot of spawners. I decided to come in here and just throw a little Ned worm around and see if I can get bit. The reason I chose the Ned, I actually thought about it that morning, is this place doesn't have any grass or anything in it, hard bottoms. I just wanted the light line. The reason I came back is not because of the bed, well, because of the beds, but not because any fish were on the beds. They were void of fish and had been. They weren't coming in, but these fish didn't have anywhere else to go. And the center of this canal is only about 5-6 foot deep at the deepest. So I just felt like that they were more contained and trapped, had less places to go. So this is kind of my game plan. I have no idea how I'm going to catch one in here, but I do feel like there's a population of fish in here. Not a lot of fishermen because of the cold front, so I don't have much competition. And just trying to see if I can catch a few of these males to get a limit and possibly get lucky and catch a big one. Nature finds a way.
Is that a giant?
No, I wish it was.
I can tell by the rod.
But it's a good little keeper.
That's all that matters, right?
On a day like today. First fish of the day, and it's like...
There's another one sitting right there. Little one. You can see it right underneath that barrel though.
It's a darn keeper. I'll take it. No, get it. I don't really have anywhere to hide.
Did you ever get your smell back?
Yep.
Good.
Took a while. I've caught COVID again since then.
Yeah, we got over it back in December for the second time.
Yep, we got it twice too. One of the girls came home with it and went through all 6 of us again. Well, I know where I'm fishing today. I'm gonna stay in here. All right. I'm not doing anything.
Good job.
Thanks, Bubba.
What color are you throwing?
Screen pumpkin. It's something natural because it's just so clear. I just retied too. I mean, I didn't put a new leader on though. That was the problem. I think I had that 8-pound leader on from Table Rock. I missed 2 of them there. I know I did. I missed one before I broke that one off. Fish on. Yep. Better than the other 2. And she come loose. I didn't do nothing wrong. That one. Tiny. Tiny fish.
It's a fine fish?
Tiny.
Oh.
I don't know if he's 12. It's like a 10. Well, he is 12.
months.
I've got to get my cold balls out of your live well. I didn't realize they were in there till this morning. Lucas, you catching them? No, there's not. No, no. Little ones. I got 3 little ones. You too. Warming up.
There you go.
Number 5.
5 alive.
5 alive.
You get that one under the dock?
Yes, sir. I'm a dock dude, man. Having a play. Better than the stick in the eye. There's one.
Nicely done.
Yep. Jeremiah Johnson went into the mountains. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is that a pre-spawn or is it just a buck?
Just a buck that's probably post spawn, I guess. I don't know. He's pretty poor looking.
Good.
That's what I thought. All right, guys, this is pretty much the end of my day. You know, after the practice that I had with just 2 fish a day, it is starting to warm up. Like I say, it reached 80 degrees today. I don't have a big limit, but I do have 5, and I don't have one of those little 5-6 pound limits. So I know I'm in that 9-10 pound range. It's enough to keep me alive. You know, if tomorrow, if I can go catch 12, 13, depending on how they catch them, I'm going to be in check range. So let's go check in, see how the day went, and we'll get on with it.
Touchy.
You doing all right, Tony? You mean to line that young whippersnapper out for you when I get up there? I'll do it for you. This ain't my first rodeo. I got not very much.
You got 5.
I got 5.
You're a 5-pounder, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. But I appreciate you doing that for me.
Absolutely.
My social media kid, he'll be calling me tonight. He'll be like, hey, did you get any pictures today? And I'll be like, you know what? I got them today, son.
On top of it today.
Yeah. Here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Jake Mims.
Jake Bradley Hallman. Nice to meet you, bud.
John Harrison.
Joey.
Nice to meet John's.
Well, what do you got?
Oh, 25, 26. You crush them today?
Not like that.
No, I got 5 rats.
had like almost 16, 15. With
Good job.
like 28 leading. I'm in 5th right now.
Good job, dude. Would you like an ice water?
Sure.
Hold my bag.
Thanks.
You thought I was going a long ways, didn't you?
I was a little confused.
You did a kick butt job though on that design of that DFA.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Not much. You doing all right? You're halfway through, Bubba. You're halfway through.
We getting there.
5 fish. We're at 9 pounds 3 ounces, 46 spot right now. Good luck tomorrow.
What's going on?
Not much. I tried to call you, said that lock was going to be open, but it was. Did you fish?
No, I didn't find out that boat deal I got going. I didn't find out till the day before or the day after the first day of signups that I was going to be able to fish it. And it was
Really?
too late. Yeah.
Stopped and picked up some of your worms. Toho the other
One
day.
and two on the Coingler side.
Really? On your worms?
Yeah.
Good.
How'd you do?
9 pounds.
What are you in third? Nine's not bad.
I'm at 40 something.
Yeah. I'm checking out.
Hey, it was good meeting you, man. I got booked.
Jeremiah? Okay.
Hey,
Dude, I enjoyed it.
me too, man. And I wish you success. I hope you make it back.
Just grinding. I hope so too. I need to do what we did today. I need one good bite.
Hey, make sure you tell Pang Rack that you met some BTL nut.
I will. I will. We'll talk about it on the show. Jeremiah Johnson went into the mountains. All right, guys, that's the end of the day. That put me in like 69th place at the end of the day, a 225 boat field. They pay the top 40, so we got it done. You know, it wasn't a great day. It wasn't a terrible day. We coiled up, got a nice little limit. It was the right decision to stay up there. Andrew decided to go to Kissimmee, and with lock time and everything else, and with that thing being the way it was, man, it was really hard on him, and he didn't have very much. I think he had one fish. So it was a good decision for me to stay put. No more than what I was on. Did I find the mother lode? Absolutely not. Tomorrow's a new day, and we'll see what happens there. I just need to catch a limit like what I caught today and just hope I catch a good one. You know, 1 4 5 pounder might jump me up inside that top 40, which is where I need to be in the points and for the money for trying to qualify for the Elite Series and stay in the Southern Open. So taking it to the house. Really appreciate you guys being here. Man, don't forget, bump that like, hit that subscribe, leave your comments below. Till next time, guys, I'm out of here.